Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Valente, and I'm joined by Big K, bringing back a series that I've known in about 6 months. Let's see if I remember this intro. Uh, Behind Enemy Lines is a series where I, Valente, a Saints fan, talk to a fan of the opposing team. And this week, the opponent is the Arizona Cardinals. So I am joined by known Arizona Cardinals fan.
Yeah, man, I am known to be a fan of many teams.
Yes, he is a fan of seven other teams.
And then there's
Eight.
then there's the damn Broncos who boo, fuck them.
Yeah. One thing I got to reference before we start this, the last thing, or the big thing last year was how you never got anything wrong. So the entirety of like the last season, every time you were on here, at the end of the episodes we do game predictions, and of course, since we're betting men, of course, we up the notch a bit, and we bet spreads and we bet over unders, whatever. And you didn't lose until the final week. So you went 6-1 throughout the entire season. So that's nice. Um it's sad that almost every time you were right, it was against me. So
I don't think I picked for the Saints once.
no, you did. You picked for
But
them
for the
against the
Panthers
Bucks.
and the Panthers.
Yeah, Bucks and Panthers, and all the other ones you got right
Hey,
against me. So that's all
hey,
good and well, but
hey! Hey, I'm telling you right now, that ain't carrying into preseason.
yeah, probably won't. But it's all
I
right.
I, I am not counting the preseason record because preseason's unpredictable.
I won't count preseason unless he does really good.
Unless I unless I sweep my games.
As far as I know, you're only going to be here for this week. If I can't find a 49ers fan, then you might have to bring him back, and then I already have someone on for Titans week. So then we go into the regular season where we actually start off against the Panthers. I think I have a Panthers fan this time around, but
Oh,
um, yeah,
yeah,
we'll just have to.
they can
What?
talk. They can take talking about that trash.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, new season. Well, I guess it's preseason. So, we got a new list of questions, and my phone turned off. So give me 1 second to pull this shit back up.
Bro doesn't have the questions, but I do.
All right. We got the preseason list of questions, and a couple of things have been included because it's preseason. There's a lot going on. Um, but starting with number one, we're just going to talk about the teams. Um, Starting with, who would your surprising cut candidate be for the Cardinals?
The surprising cut candidate.
Yeah, so like if there's
Oh,
anyone out there who, you know, should have a spot on the roster,
but
who do you think is going to be the one that gets cut out of those? If at all.
ooh, I read over this question. Nice. I will say, I'm not tripping when I'm about to say that this guy feels like he's been. Yeah, I would say Chris Buns,
Okay.
the middle linebacker. I mean, if you look at it, you have Owen Papale, who's also another one of the backups.
And
Right
fast.
now,
Look.
who's fast as fuck, yes, but he's also good as fuck. Well, Chris Buns, he's 26 already. He's linebacker 3 or 4. You have younger depth behind him, like a. Sorry, I'm making sure this guy is younger. You have a guy who's been in the league for only 1 year, in Tyreek Maddox. Well, yes, at the same age, you can form that more.
Hmm.
You have a guy who could show out in the preseason in Trevor Nowosky. Do I think Chris Barnes is going to get cut? No. Is he
Wouldn't be
of
surprised.
anyone? Would I be surprised? No, because he'd be one of those guys who gets picked up quickly. But it also comes down to what's the health look like throughout the preseason. Saw it in Denver with Caden Stearns.
Yeah.
Bro wasn't healthy, got cut. The NFL's brutal. They're not going to keep you if you're going to be injured the entire time.
That's fair. I have a couple, and one of these is, surprising would be for me, and then one of these wouldn't necessarily be way too surprising because Dennis Allen has not let that go since day one. So we came back to training camp, I think, on July 23rd. I think the first practice was the 24th. And I believe from that first day, Kendra Miller got injured. And Dennis Allen's words were, it's hard to make the team if you're staying in the trainer's room, which is respectable. But the reason it's surprising for me is because he was your third, fourth round draft pick just a year ago. And I can't remember the last time anyone cut a draft pick that high within the first 2 years. I think like the closest thing to that was Alex Leatherwood, and he's still like Alex Leatherwood was a first round pick, but he still played 4 years before getting cut like that. So Kendra Miller is one that wouldn't necessarily be surprising to see happen, but surprising for it
Yeah.
to happen just because Kendra Miller is who he is.
Yeah.
And then my other one is Foster Moreau. The reason why that may come as a bit of surprise is because currently he's tied in number one on the first unofficial depth chart, but I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to tight end 4. Just because Taysom Hill, he's listed as both quarterback and tight end on ESPN at least. Juwan Johnson's coming back, and then Dalen Holker is a huge part of camp so far.
Yeah.
So Foster Moreau could very quickly tumble down that depth chart and, become obsolete.
And I guess another guy for the Cardinals would be Elijah Wilkinson. He's been
Is it?
he's a solid
Is it
tackle along the league. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad. But in the NFL, a lot of teams need tackles.
yeah.
However, Elijah's currently slated to be the backup right tackle. You have a great backup left tackle in Kelvin Beachum. Jonah Williams has consistently stayed healthy. So if that's a guy who gets cut, maybe even someone trades for him, I would not be surprised one bit.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. They need to do everything they can to keep Elijah Wilkinson because uh, Dennis Daly is apparently their third string right tackle, and you do not want Dennis Daly playing on your football team. I promise you that dude's like, I'd say worse than Trevor Penning, and
Yeah, but you have
based on
you have Kelvin Beachum who's played both
yeah, it's
and
true.
is better than Elijah.
But never give Dennis Daly the chance to come in. That would be really
Brutal.
nice. Yeah, if Dennis Daly played football in 2024, that would be pretty hard. But moving on to the net, we're gonna get away from negativity a little bit because cuts are pretty negative. I'm not gonna lie.
Boo, I'm only here for the negativity.
Um, so talk about surprising cut candidates. We're gonna shy away from that. Who are your breakout candidates, not only for this game, but for the rest of, I guess, the season?
So I think the guy, and it's the guy who has the best chance throughout the preseason to earn a starting spot. I'm gonna focus on rookies, and that's
Okay.
Tayson Palmer. If you
Okay.
currently look at the receiver room for the Cardinals, you know who your number one is. It's Marvin.
Mhm.
Because Marvin's going to be outstanding. You know who your number two is going to be. That's Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson has earned the right to be the number two receiver.
Mhm.
As of now, your receiver 3 is Greg Dortch.
Okay.
We're all fans of Greg Dortch. We all love Greg Dortch.
Right.
But
Like this.
as a receiver 4 or 5, Greg Dortch is awesome.
Okay.
As receiver 3, he gives you the chance to have a big play. But I feel like there's a lot of flexibility there of who could end up being the receiver 3. And if
Okay.
Tayson Palmer has a good preseason, he's 24 years old, which is up there for a rookie. If he has a good preseason, he could be a Victor Cruz type guy.
That makes sense.
As far as other positions, I think a guy like Owen Papale could make some noise. They run with right now the backup these LB2s Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson had a great rookie year, but it's only been here and there since then. Owen Papale, we talked about, he's an explosive athlete. He
Yep.
will get to the ball. He can play sideline to sideline with his impressive speed. And he's just a second-year player. He's only 22, I want to say, 22, 23.
You're gonna
So
be way
he's...
off.
Am I way off?
I feel like you're gonna be way off whenever you check his age. I don't know. Let me
He
look.
is 23. So
Oh,
22,
yeah, never
23.
mind. Carry on.
He need a lot of what he just needs is experience in the game. So if that's a guy who in preseason shows out to be, hey, when I step foot in game, I'm gonna be downfield. I'm gonna be a 9-10 tackle game guy.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys with the most to prove when it comes to, hey, you can start me. Max Milton could be another guy who could work up to being the corner 3 on this team. Corner 1's gonna be Son Murphy Bunting. Corner 2 and
Max
3,
Melton, a Madden legend.
corner 2 or 3, a little open.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I feel like, even though the Cardinals isn't really my team, I still have a breakout candidate for them. Mine is Zach Pascal, who is another receiver, a bit older, but he's gonna have a chance to get in and play. He didn't have really too good of a season last season and the season before. So I guess I really shouldn't call him breakout candidate. It's more of a revival candidate, I guess.
He's a guy who could get cut.
Yeah, he's a guy who could get cut, but if he doesn't get cut, I could see him doing some fun things. Maybe. Because he had a pretty good career in Indianapolis before.
He was putting up solid receiver. He had 2 good years where he put up solid numbers as far as being receiver 3. 600 yards in 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean, if he does get in, he's going to be asked to be receiver 3 or 2, so not asking too much of him. And I guess for me, the breakout candidate of the Saints I have a couple, right? Sticking with the young guys, I'm going to say Brian Brzee. I think Brian Brzee had a stellar rookie season. However, a lot of his inexperience showed. He actually got, I believe, half of his sack count got taken back because of penalties. And, he had a lot of mishaps on field goals where he would line up over the center. So he has a little bit of that edge that he needs to knock off. But, he would have been one of the better defensive tackles last year if it wasn't for flags. So I think if he can clean up some of that act just a little bit and, play football the correct way 100% of the time, Brian Brzee is going to be a dog, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Number 2, I got to go with my guy Rashid Shaheed. Come on now, look.
Is he going to play much?
Okay. I think with the new kickoff rules, he's going to play at least one of the games because he's going to have to learn that. Since that's a new thing. I was more in the sense talking about the season, but for this game exactly, I'm gonna go with Bub Means. All right, I got 2 for this game. Bub Means, who was our 5th round wide receiver pick, and while I didn't like that at the time, he's really grown on me. Okay, I'm sorry, that was weird. Bub Means, just because I like who he is as a person, not a player. Let me say that again. Person, not a player. He's grown on me as, person. He's a fan favorite. I'm a member of the Bub Means fan club. And then my other one would have to be Spencer Rattler. It's very easy to root for a quarterback as a breakout guy in preseason. But I think Spencer Rattler has what it takes. I know this is a bit of a hot take in some groups, but not with a lot of the people that I talk to. A lot of people believe that Spencer Rattler is a better overall player than Michael Penix is. And I really don't think I've ever heard anyone disagree with the fact that Spencer Rattler was a better pick than Michael Penix was, given the situations.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're taking, I'm going to shit on the Falcons. I do it in almost every video. Day one pick, first of all, your 8th overall pick, where you could have taken an edge rusher or anything that would have played day one, maybe. And then you take Michael Penix, who's not going to play till he's 28. Versus Spencer Rattler, who's probably going to be 2. And against Derek Carr, who is bound to get injured at some point. So
I don't get that pick.
But yeah, there's my daily shitting on the Falcons. But yeah, I believe Spencer Rattler is, I would say, gonna be QB2. I have high hopes for him. I think at some point this season he may even start a game or two. If Derek Carr either A, completely shits the bed or gets injured, which I don't put past him either way.
Yeah.
But in terms of this game, I just think Spencer Rattler's I believe he's getting the start this weekend. I'm pretty sure we'll find that out. At the time of this recording, I have no idea, but we'll find out by the time this goes out, maybe. So I'll say Rattler and Bub Means are my 2 for the game. And then Brian Brzee is my 1 for the season.
It's a valid 2.
Because here in about 2 years, Bub Means and Spencer Rattler are going to be the future of my franchise.
And that's gonna be a franchise that wins 2 games a game. Yeah.
And you know what? I will be okay with that, because guess what comes out of 2 wins?
After you guys trade your pick to try to get an aging receiver.
No.
To the Falcons.
Mm-mm.
And they're gonna draft the next Andrew Luck. In 2 years. Because that means Michael Penix didn't work out at all.
Who? Wait, what? Michael Penix.
Bro did not hear me cook when they said that I said in 2 years the Falcons were picking a QB.
Oh, I thought you said the Saints were picking a QB.
No, they traded their pick.
And you know what? I'll add another one. One more, and I'm not going to explain it. You'll know when you hear the name.
ATP.
Samson Nakua.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to leave that there. Moving on to our next topic. While we're on the topic of, breakout candidates for the season and stuff like that, what's training camp looking like for the Cardinals up to this point?
I'll be honest, no idea. I have not really kept up with that. It's the Cardinals at the end of the day.
Fair. That's fair.
I have barely been able to keep up with the Broncos.
You know what? That's okay. I'll take over.
I ain't gonna cap. I try to find out. You know what? We'll see if there's been any updates today while you cook.
Okay. Well, Saints training camp up to this point has looked pretty back and forth. Starting towards the beginning of camp, the defense dominated every day. And then more recently, the offense has been doing pretty good. So, and that's the one thing I despise about training camp. It's like, when you see your offense doing good, you're like, oh my God, did my defense take a step back? Are we going to suck? And when you see the defense doing good, you're like, oh my God, Derek Carr, here we go again. Another year, another shit. So it's I'd already put my finger on who's like really winning. But one thing I do know is this offensive line, while being shit, is finding its way to try and improve. As I believe our interior offensive line is doing a really good job. It's just the outside is what the problem is right now. I don't know if you guys know, but if you don't, I'm gonna let you know. Talise Fuaga and Trevor Penning basically swapped sides. So, Caleb, I know you're a big film guy. Talise Fuaga was a right tackle. He's not playing left, and he's never played that before. Same with Trevor Penning, left tackle, never played right. Um, Personally, I think that Penning should be playing guard, if anything, because Penning does way too like his footwork is so slow. His hand placement is terrible. His technique is some of the worst I've ever seen. And then, if you put that at guard, your footwork doesn't have to be, like tackle level. Because tackles are doing what, 3 kick steps?
Depends on who they're against.
Yeah, I would have.
It's all
So
against a who against a give me an end in the South.
in the NFC South,
Yeah.
Yaya Diaby, I don't know. It's the first one that comes to my
Yaya,
mind.
you're gonna need to kick back because the scariest thing about Yaya is his speed.
Yeah. One like noticeable like memory I have with Trevor Penning's shitness is Arden Key last year for the Titans in week 1. I was there in person, so I had live all 22 footage of him getting fucking beat around the corner, and his footwork was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. But
So
here's what I'll say about that switch. I think your O line is completely different based on one thing, and that's Ryan Ramczyk.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Last season he barely played as well. So
But you guys were planning, hey, we'll have him back. Our right tackle will be on lock, or at least
nope.
have him back in some form.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Nope. This has been a thing since minicamp. If you search up Ryan Ramczyk, you look 4 months ago, it says Ryan Ramczyk may not play this year.
Shit.
Yeah, they've prepared for it for a while. That's why Talise Fuaga was the draft pick. Except they completely decided to flip flop both of them, which I think is dumb in every way. You have bona fide right tackle and a fucking mauler of a guy at right tackle. Why don't you just leave him there and then do something with left tackle? You could have signed Andrews Pete back. Andrews Pete played better left tackle than Penning ever could.
Because you have to get Penning some play time.
No, I'm sorry.
If you
I
want him to develop into a respectable tackle in the NFL, they have to get play time.
I don't think it's possible for him to develop into a respectable tackle.
He very much is. He has the mentality. He has the mentality. He has the mindset. The one thing he's missing is the technique.
That's
the
fair.
best
Look, if there's anyone that's going to coach that technique into him, it's Jari Evans or Jari Evans. And that's who our offensive line assistant coach is. So, maybe that helps him out. But he's a long ways to go from that technique. And I hope he gets there for the sake of my offensive line. And same with Fuaga, right? He's learning a completely new position, but he has all the intangibles to learn it. I don't know. I can't really. I don't really see Fuaga being as good as he could have been because of that.
Switching tackles is both very easy and very hard. Because it's a lot of this, it's the exact same technique for the majority of it.
Yeah.
You just have to flip everything in your mind.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, so your literally your muscle memory gets kicked out the books. But it's also you know what you're gonna need to do because you've developed that muscle memory just the other way. look at
Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs, who we consistently talk about being one of the best tackles in the league. He made that exact same switch Hufunga's he's making.
Yeah.
He was a right tackle. He was a left. No, sorry. He's doing what Penning did. Penning was Wirfs was a left tackle in college. They switched him to right tackle. His rookie year was one, and as a rookie, he was one of the best right tackles in the league.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the switch he needed, but at least Wirfs have the the technique and everything. I just don't see it from Penning. Like I watched
I'm more focused
reps
on the
against.
fact that your left tackle is the most important position in the league, and it's a rookie.
It is
So
right.
I'm
And
very confident in him.
yeah, I'm glad that Trevor Penning is not the left tackle anymore, for the fact that Derek Carr would literally have to run the moment he snapped the ball from like almost every time. If you go back and watch the Titans game, there is pressure in Derek Carr's face within the first 1.5 seconds. So, or not his face, his blind side. So yeah, that makes sense. And if you're gonna get pressured, you'd rather see it coming, I guess. So I could see why the move to right tackle was it, but again, I just don't think he's gonna be any good. For his blind side, yeah, I love that. But I just wouldn't be surprised if that O-line broke down in like half a second again. I don't think it's that bad to what everyone else is saying. And that's maybe just because I've watched everyone else. I think Fuag is really good. It's just how he adjusts to being left tackle now. Lucas Patrick is way more experienced than Saldiveri is, and I've heard every Bears fan in the book say that Lucas Patrick is shit, which I have no reason to argue that. Eric McCoy is one of the best centers in the league now. Cesar Ruiz is always getting better. So I have every reason to believe that the interior is going to be fine. Just what goes on the outside that's going to determine how good our offense does. And Clint Kubiak with the I think it's a zone blocking scheme or something like that. It's either a zone or power. I have no fucking idea. But
Probably from the 49ers, probably zone.
yeah. So I would assume that Fuaga being the way he is, he's more of a downhill blocker, I'd say. Always getting to the next level. I'd say him being at left tackle is a good idea. Because I believe we run left a lot. No, we don't, actually. You know what? I'm talking about the offense that was last year, knowing that none of that is going to be the same. So,
yeah.
Who knows, man? But other than that, offensive line, it has its question marks, but it's getting better as days go. So that's encouraging, I guess. Derek Carr has not had a bad day since July.
That's what the media wants you to think.
He strung together 8 good days. So that's fun. Defense is doing their thing as always. However, injuries are racking up pretty quickly.
Yeah. I will tell you, Cardinals training camp, the update from today when they did the 11-on-11 scrimmage, it was Marvin, some more Marvin, and ready to for this, some more Marvin.
That sounds like...
That sounds about right.
That sounds like Marvin, to be honest.
Yeah, apparently Marvin got a majority of the targets in camp today.
Yeah.
Kyler just knows that's who he's going to have to throw to because that's all he's got.
Yeah.
And then Dort and Mario, or however you say the running back's name, apparently also was was also getting some love.
That's cool. Well, while we're talking about training camp, we're just going to talk about all the training camp injuries. Now I have two sets of injuries pulled up. We're going to look at, well, since this one is much thinner, we're going to look at the Cardinals first. So So, boom. Our handy dandy StreamYard has presented us our Arizona Cardinals injury report, and this is very thin, so you don't have to talk very much.
Yeah.
We have BJ Ojulari on IR with a knee injury, and that came on August 5th. And Amari DiMercado, questionable with a shoulder brace.
I can say, off the reports just saw, Amari did practice today.
Okay. And this was after Wednesday's practice, so this should mean really nothing.
BJ, I love BJ, so I want his bitch ass to get healthy.
I want his bitch ass to get healthy. All right, well, let me pull up the other one. And now, a lengthy essay by Valente Talk Saints, because we got a long list right here, and it doesn't stop there.
Jesus
So
Christ.
I guess let's just go back to
Jesus!
let's just go back to day one. All right. Nephi Sewell is out for the ACL injury he suffered last season. Fair enough. I don't know what happened to Tano, so Tanyo. I don't know how to say his first name. All right. Anyway, moving on to July 24th. Like I said earlier, Kendra Miller. I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut with the way that Dennis Owens talked about him, but he's been dealing with a hamstring. So there's that. Trajan Jeffcoat. I don't know anything really too much about that injury, but he dislocated his elbow in July. I don't know if that's changed at all, but that's the last update apparently. Lattimore's been out with a hip flexor who he's rehabbing a little bit. He's at practice still, but he's not practicing with the team. He's more or less doing rehab. So
Ghosty
Shane
might be
Lamo.
dead.
Shane Lamo has an ankle injury. I haven't seen him since then. Brian Brzee came back recently. He had a foot injury, and I think he's working through that. And I think he's all right. Equinemius St. Brown, the most hated man in New Orleans right now, missed due to a hamstring injury. Look, I'm gonna be honest. This guy's getting cut. All right. And the only way he would not get cut is if Clint Kubiak said, "No, I need my Juwan Jennings." And this would ironically be his Juwan Jennings. Juwan Johnson's going to be out until probably the beginning of the season, foot injury. Demario Davis is questionable, but the only reason he is out right now is because it's a precautionary thing. He doesn't want, DA doesn't want the veterans getting injured before they even have a chance to play a game.
Yeah.
Jay Kaner has skin cancer. Prayers up for him. Tommy Hudson on injured reserve. Rashid Shaheed. I does not say what his status is, but still injured. Also, Debo groin injury on the 4th. I don't know what happened recently with that. Pete Werner has a shoulder injury. I'm sure he'll be back soon. I think he practiced today. He also signed an extension today, so congrats, Pete Werner. You deserve it because you're underrated as fuck. Nathan Shepard, I don't know what happened to him. Jermaine Jackson, I don't know what happened to him. I really hope something, picks up with him because he's going to be our other kick returner. Outside of Rashid Shaheed, he's going to be our second kick returner. It should be. Chandler Brewer, injured reserve. I don't know what happened to him. And then Mason Tipton had a hamstring injury, which really sucks considering he has been lighting up camp every day. There's some big catch and one-on-ones with him. And I was really excited to see him play Saturday, but that's probably not going to happen. It's all right, though. So, yeah, I feel like this list is going to get deeper next week. So prepare for that. Yeah, I would say the the worst that's going to come out of these injuries, is maybe Paulson, Adebo, and Lattimore. They might. Lattimore's already been out for a bit.
Yeah.
And then if they're not back, they should come back soon. They've already been out the most. Or Lattimore has been out the most. And, with his injury history over the last couple of years, I could see him missing time somewhere in the future. I don't know. But moving on from injuries, what is at stake for the Cardinals? And by that I mean what position battles are trying to be solved and all that.
I think receiver's the biggest one. I still think you're gonna have that be wide open. Receiver 3, receiver 1. Especially after the reports today, that shit is closed. That book ain't ever getting opened again.
Mm-hmm.
If Marv was genuinely today's practice. Corners one, I think could remain open because outside of one, you don't have a hard set number 2 is corner. Your defensive line is another one that is like, There's opening spots, especially at edge with the unknown status of BJ and what his timeline is.
Okay.
Only positions really set in stone is QB, receiver 1, running back, and the O-line probably. I'd say everything else is somewhat open. Well, and kicker and punter.
I would say the most interesting battle of our training camp is the QB2 battle. One that I'm very fond of. I really couldn't tell you who's winning that battle. Apparently, it's really tight knit. I'm rooting for Spencer Rattler, and I hope Jake Hayner's okay. Another one is wide receiver 3 between A.T. Perry and Cedric Wilson. I believe Cedric Wilson has the edge right now. Which either way, I mean, it doesn't matter to me who wins that because they're both going to be pretty decent wide receiver 3, so I'm cool with that. Fullback is another one. Shout out to Miller. I believe Xander Horvath has the edge in that one. Left guard, Lucas Patrick is winning that one. I would say right defensive end, it is Carl Granderson and Chase Young. And they're both really going at it, having really good days. I mean, they're facing Trevor Penning, so I need to cut them some slack. They're both having their days. I would probably edge that out to Carl Granderson. And Chase Young be more of a. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Jordan played defensive tackle a little bit, just because, the age that he has on him now.
Yeah.
And he is a bit bigger now. He'd still be one of the smaller defensive tackles, but he could play like a 30 tech or something. I would say the slot corner battle is pretty fun. Although I do think it's not really competitive, it's still fun. I think Alontae Taylor's got that in the bag, but seeing him compete with Kool-Aid and Kinstry is fun. And then another one that I really like, which would be surprising, is the kicker battle. We signed a guy from IMG Ireland or wherever. He played for IMGs from Ireland. Charlie Smith, who literally can kick further than a horse on steroids. So he's pretty accurate from afar, and I would say Blake Griffey's doing a really good job at training camp too. So that's a fun battle to watch, and I pray to God that there's a punter battle because Lou Headley is not him. So yeah, a lot of jobs at stake in Saints training camp. But moving on from that, let's talk about the game a little bit. We've been talking about what's going on with the team. Let's talk about this game. What are the keys to victory for the
I'll
Arizona
be
team?
straight with you. No one cares if they win or lose. It's the
Okay,
preseason. Like
but
they're
for
not game planning for to win. They're not game planning if whatever.
but let's say this is just us right now. How do you win this weekend? What do you expect?
I I'm gonna be straight with you. Preseason's to see who makes the roster.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm. That's what. So there's no. I don't think you game plan to win the game. You game plan to see. All right, we need to figure out who our QB2 will be. Carr, you'll play 2 drives. You get the first half. You get the rest of the second half. You get the second half. You get and then break up the snaps based off of that. Just who we need to get. We need to figure out who our roster is going to be.
That's fair, but there's obviously players that are going to be career backups and third strings that really
Yes,
want
but
to win these
but they,
games.
yeah, because they have because they're still playing for their spots. They're,
Okay,
they're playing.
so I'll put it this way: in terms of all the battles going on, what needs to happen in this game for you to figure these things out?
It's just whoever plays the best. Corner is going to be rough because receiver, you're not going to get the number one receivers. You're not going to play Olave all game. You're not going to play A.T. Perry all game.
A.T. Perry might actually play all game.
But you'll see a receiver like a Taysom Palmer who is playing for his roster spot could potentially ball out because he needs to make the damn roster.
Well, I would say I'm a bit opposed to, and I agree with you. You're playing the see who lands on the roster, but it's a little bit different for the Saints because you're trying to install a new offense as well. So, while you're not playing to win the game, you kind of are at the same time if you're the Saints because you need to install a successful offense, and that starts in the preseason, no matter who you trot out there. I think Spencer Rattler was a Clint Kubiak, pick. Clint Kubiak has his hands all over that, I'm sure. Um, so I think Spencer Rattler is going to be very vital to what happens in game one. Um, Same with like Equanimous St. Brown. Even he's a good he's a good blocker, a really good run blocker at points. Guys like Stanley Morgan are going to be vital to that. And then you got to see where Derek Carr is at in terms of his progress in the offense. Even if it's not game one, you still gotta trot Flog out there for a series, trot Penning out there for a series because again they switch spots, so they need to learn their spot just a little bit in game speed. Um, trot Chase Young out there for a series. He's new to the system. Trot, you know, Kool-Aid out for probably a quarter or two. He's the backup right corner for right now. So let guys like him and guys who are new to the systems play, but also give some of your guys on the offense a chance to learn the system because again you're installing a new system here. So I would say the Saints are going to try and put up, you know, a lot of points this game because uh the Shanahan style of offense, there's a lot of guys on our team that need to learn it because they've never been in one before. But
Yeah.
for people like Cedric Wilson and people like Cedric Wilson and who did I miss that's also played in that style? I think it's just Cedric Wilson. People like Cedric Wilson who've played in the system like that before, you don't necessarily need to worry about him. But for your Chris Olaves and your A.T. Perrys and your Derek Carrs and everybody on the offensive line even, let them play a series. That would really help, understand where you're at in terms of installing the offense. So keys to victory, and I'm not saying winning this game, but keys to improving and moving forward are get your guys a chance to install the system. Let your guys play a series or two or a quarter, however you want to do it. Let them play. Anything more from you on that?
Not really. Not
Okay.
really.
And then let's see. Now we got one final thing left here to go over, and this is our favorite segment.
Let's see how this goes. Right.
Oh, can I look at this without logging in? No, maybe.
Maybe, possibly.
Apparently not. All right then. Actually, yes, I can. Brought to you by ESPN. So, even though we're not playing to win, your predictions still matter because why not? Your big K, we gotta.
Let's see how this goes.
Alrighty, here we go. Up on the screen, we have our game cast for Saints versus Cardinals. Now, on the left side, you can see. Let me see this. Oh, let's fucking go. Okay, here we go. Better screen. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, hold on. Wrong screen. Boom.
That is blurry as hell for me. Oh, there we go. That's better now.
Okay. So, on the screen right now is our betting odds, spread, and over/under. This game is pretty close in terms of spread and everything. So the Arizona Cardinals are favored by 1, and the over/under is set at 37.5. So, Caleb Allen, who is your money line, spread, and over/under pick?
My money line spread, I'm going with the Saints.
Okay.
My spread, I'm going with the Saints.
Okay.
The total over/under, I'm going the over.
Okay. All right. Now, along with that, what is your final score prediction since you're going with the over?
24-17 Saints.
That would hit the over. I was just going to see if you fucked up your math. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Saints are playing for a lot more in this game.
I think that's just the quarterback play backup wise is better.
I agree with that. But Desmond Ritter is experienced as a starter. So, I mean, we don't know. But, yeah, I would agree with that. So, backups-wise, I would say I'm not going to say we have a better quarterback as a backup. But, pressure guy, confidence hasn't been ruined yet. And overall, we're just playing for a little bit more than what the Cardinals are. Cardinals are playing to settle a few position battles. We're trying to install an offense, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Saints money line. I'm going with the Saints spread, obviously, because it's 1 point. And then I'm also going with the over, and I think the final score is going to be 24-20, which would put us at 44 points. And with that, that is going to be all. Caleb, thank you, my guy, for joining me. Behind Enemy Lines Season 2, Episode 1. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw you back next week, but
we'll see.
Hopefully I have a 49ers fan that wants to join. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications for all future New Orleans Saints content and Brown Emery lines. I sound like an auctioneer. All right, anyway. See you guys next time.